What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another live post-game show on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com and ArrowheadAddict.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And folks, the Kansas City Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl for a third straight year after defeating the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship 32-29. We got the shades on tonight. We got the disco lights going. It's time to party as we celebrate this win because the Kansas City Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl, and the Kansas City Chiefs just made history tonight. They just made history. They're going to the Super Bowl for the fourth time in 6 years. No team has ever done that. And of course, we know what they're chasing. A three-peat, which no team has ever done. And we're going to be here to break it all down, folks. Well, actually, it's just me tonight. Michael Darcy typically would be joining us, but as most of you know that watch both of our channels, Michael is at the game tonight, so I'm sure he's soaking all that in. I'm sure he's shooting a couple of videos of his own right now. So we'll likely have more of Darcy in the coming days, but as people get in here, I just want you guys to know that because it's just me tonight, leave your comments, leave your questions down below, and I will get to them. Let's talk about this game. Let's celebrate this win, but let's also get into this game a little bit. So this was just another typical Chiefs game, wasn't it? Wasn't it? It was a close game down to the end, 32-29. And, you know, guys, I said in the preview, this team is going to have to break 30 points to win this game. I think the magic number is 30 points. I always thought Josh Allen was going to get his in this game, and he certainly did. He played a very good game. He used 22 of 34 for 237 yards and 2 touchdowns passing, but he also added another 11 carries for 39 yards rushing, and we know how dangerous he was in those short yardage scenarios. But Kansas City Chiefs, Steve Spagnuolo, the defense, they were able to hold him most of the time. And we'll get into that certainly a little bit later, but focusing on where I was before. So, you know, I always said that 30 was going to be the magic number in this game. Nice to see some people getting in here. Nice to see you. Cole, three-peat incoming. Absolutely. And it's good to see you, my friend Cole. Popping in here. And for those of you that are just now joining, go ahead and leave your comments, your questions down below for sure. I want to make this as interactive as possible tonight since it is just me. Darcy, of course, once again is at the game just for those of you that are just now joining. So otherwise he would be on, but he's certainly busy at the moment. So, man, yeah, it kind of felt like there towards the end, man, the first team to get to 30 points in this game is probably going to win. That team ended up being the Kansas City Chiefs, but I have to tell you guys, you know, I was pretty nervous after the last offensive possession because, well, I shouldn't say the last offensive possession, but the one before the Chiefs iced the game by getting a first down. I was very nervous because when the Kansas City Chiefs, when Patrick Mahomes took a sack, I believe it was on second down, and then no gain on third down, and you had to kick a field goal, I thought, man, that was Patrick Mahomes' chance. You had to put 7 on the board there because I thought for sure when the Buffalo Bills got the ball back that they were going to go and score a touchdown and they were going to leave you no time left. And I just thought, man, Patrick Mahomes not getting that. It's going to be the story of the season if they lose. It never felt right all year. The offense never felt right all year. And in the biggest moment, and in one of those scenarios where Mahomes had to put together a drive, go down there and score, put up a touchdown in order to win the game, he didn't do it. And I thought that was the conversation that we were going to be having tonight after the Chiefs had to settle for a field goal. But then Spags breaks out the pressure on the last defensive stand. Buffalo Bills, they go for it on fourth down. Of course, they had no other choice. One stop wins the game. And then Spags brought the heat from the right side. And as soon as you saw George Karlaftis, as soon as you saw a lot of those guys breaking through, you thought, no way they get this. This play's already broken. And, of course, Josh Allen gets a lollipop pass off. Mac Hollins, I believe it was, or no, Kincaid, it was Dalton Kincaid, had a chance to catch it on his way to the ground. I mean, it was in his hands. He had his basket open, ready to catch it, drops it. Game over. Well, not game over. She still had to get a first down, but essentially over. And also, you know, the play to Samaje Perine there at the end should not go overlooked. the play to Samaje Perine to get that first down at the very end of the game, just beautifully drawn up. And I mean, they said it on the broadcast. Perine didn't even have a touch the entire game. And then on the most important play of the game, the one to ice it, they go to Samaje Perine. So I just thought that was incredible right there. Let's get more into the offense, though. So Patrick Mahomes, 18 of 26, 245 yards and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt was your leading rusher, 17 carries, 64 yards and a touchdown. Then Xavier Worthy. Shout out Xavier Worthy. 6 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. And he said before this game, it was a little personal for him. It was a little personal for him because the Bills essentially traded out of the pick where they could have selected him. Kansas City Chiefs come up and get him instead. And man, did he make some big plays tonight. I mean, you talk about, I believe it was a 20-yard reception there on the final scoring drive to kind of set that up. And Mahomes was about to get sacked before he found Worthy streaking open across the field. The catch that, a lot of people will be talking about, was it a catch? Was it not a catch? I don't know. I wasn't sure when it went to review what they were going to decide, but Worthy fought for that ball in the air. And that was a contested catch, man. That was as contested as it gets. And Xavier Worthy somehow came down with that, had the touchdown early in the game. I mean, he was their best receiver in this game, point blank. But then another guy that I want to shout out, and man, was I happy to see him come alive. Juju Smith-Schuster, 2 catches, but they were huge catches, man. They were huge. 2 catches for 60 yards, both of which resulted in the Chiefs scoring, if I remember correctly. Maybe one of them was on the Mahomes fumble drive. Someone could probably correct me in the comments, but I mean, that game is now just a blur in my mind at this point. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl again, guys. Again. I mean, unbelievable. And to beat Josh Allen again, for Mahomes to be 4-0 versus Josh Allen in the playoffs. No quarterback. I mean, that's why I put that the Kansas City Chiefs just made history in the title. No quarterback has ever gone 4-0 against another opposing quarterback in the postseason. I mean, this is just incredible stuff that we're seeing. And if you're Josh Allen, man, I just I don't even know what you do. It's just like, I cannot beat these guys. And Michael and I talked about that, leading up to this game all week. I said multiple times, there's going to be a situation maybe where Josh Allen has the ball and the Bills are down 7, down 3. It's late in the game. And you're just kind of thinking, man, you just kind of melt down. Like, I cannot beat these guys. And that's almost kind of what happened at the end. I mean, you saw when the Bills had the ball at the end there, Josh Allen kind of wasted a throw over the middle. Kind of a weird play, kind of put the ball in danger. And the Bills put the ball in danger a lot of times tonight, man. But for some reason, the ball kept bouncing their way. And, man, I know there's going to be people complaining about the refs again after this one, which is just ridiculous because the Bills fumbled it, I believe, 5 times in total, and they recovered every single one. Or there were 5 fumbles in this game, and the Bills recovered every single one. You deserve to lose. If you can't capitalize on that, if you don't win, winning the turnover battle by that much, or with that many times the ball being put at risk and you come up with it, you can't capitalize. Yeah, you deserve to lose. I want to pull up this comment from Cole real quick, though. And for those of you that, have just joined recently, go ahead and leave your comments, questions down below. I'll be sure to get to them. But Cole says, Patrick Mahomes, Trent McDuffie, Xavier Worthy, and Jaden Hicks, all guys we selected with picks we've gotten from Buffalo. And Cole, that's a great point. And I didn't even think about Jaden Hicks because obviously he was one of the guys that they picked with the picks that were kind of swapped in order for the Chiefs to move up in the first round. And I mean, even Jaden Hicks made a couple plays tonight. Xavier Worthy, huge. Trent McDuffie, not his best game. But here's the positive thing. Here's the good news. If you're a Chiefs fan, Trent McDuffie typically doesn't play bad all that often. And now that he got his bad game kind of out of the way, I think that bodes well for him having a huge game in the Super Bowl. But also on the topic of Trent McDuffie real quick too. I'm just taking this a bunch of different directions. I was trying to keep it organized with offense and defense, but man, there's just so many thoughts swirling in my head right now after this one. But Trent McDuffie, Spags was kind of driving me crazy early in the game because some of the personnel decisions. Okay, and first of all, hold on. let me take a drink real quick because I'm going to need energy to keep talking about this one. Najee Johnson cannot be on the field as much as he is for this defense still. And maybe a lot of that is because, they're still trying to bring Jalen Watson along slowly. But, man, some of the Najee Johnson snaps are just brutal. And a lot of the personnel decisions I thought were brutal. And a lot of the coverages that Spags opted to go with tonight, especially early on. I mean, the soft zone and leaving the middle of the field wide open and, leaving these guys in single coverage, like Mac Hollins, respectfully as possible, Mac Hollins is not that good, and he dusted the Chiefs secondary multiple times. And at the end of the first, and here's the thing, and this is why the Chiefs winning tonight, I'm just kind of at a loss right now, is because the Chiefs did so many things in this game to let Buffalo back in it that I'm really shocked that they were still able to pull out the victory. Really, honestly. I mean, they were about to go up 14-3. They fumble. Bills make it 10-7. Kansas City has an awful third quarter, does a bunch of stuff to let Buffalo back in the game. End of the first half, Chiefs, if they hold Buffalo scoreless, or if they hold up at the end of the half there, it becomes 21-10 Chiefs heading into halftime. Mac Hollins matched up on Trent McDuffie, wide open. Touchdown Bills. At half, it becomes 21-16 instead of 21-10. It's like the Chiefs just are allergic to being up by multiple scores. And I want to say that it's going to come back to bite them at some point. But, man, they just keep winning. And now they're one game away again from winning it all. And so I'm just going to stop talking about it, man. I just, it's infuriating to watch knowing that you could have because here's the thing, man. The Chiefs were thoroughly outplaying Buffalo for most of this game. They were. And they just kept doing stupid things here and there to let Buffalo back in it. And it was really annoying. And then Brian Cook in single coverage also, I believe that was against Mac Hollins. It was bad, man. Mac Hollins just completely dusted him. And it's Brian Cook, what are you doing, man? I believe also Brian Cook was supposed to be the safety help for Trent McDuffie on the other Mac Hollins big play for a touchdown. So, yeah, this is going to be one to burn for Brian Cook for sure. Going back to the offense real quick, though. So the Travis Kelce connection wasn't really there tonight the same way it was against the Houston Texans. And that was something that the Bills defense was going to zero in on after what Kelce did last week. And I thought we got really good contributions from Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster, Hollywood Brown as well, especially early on the slant play. I mean, he looked like Rashee Rice out there. Did that look familiar to you guys, what they ran with Hollywood Brown at the beginning of the game? That was the Rashee Rice game plan. On a negative note, though, DeAndre Hopkins, 1 catch for 11 yards. He did nothing in the divisional round. He did essentially nothing in this game. And Matt Nagy said earlier in the week, no, it's not intentional. We're not holding him back. This was the game to unleash him if you were going to do so. I've given up at this point on D-Hop being an impact player for the offense. And that's not to say that he won't make a catch here and there. But the big games just aren't there for D-Hop. And I still think it was a good trade and everything. I mean, you had to make that trade, especially after the Rashee Rice injury. But at this point, man, after the last couple of playoff games, I just don't see D-Hop being a guy that makes a huge impact. I think he'll draw attention. He's going to take a defender with him for sure. And he's going to give you, the opportunity to throw him a contested catch, especially if the play is breaking down. But I just don't think we're getting a 5-catch, 100-yard game from D-Hop or something like that. I don't think that's happening at this point. And certainly not against the Eagles secondary. Not if it didn't happen against Buffalo and Houston. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I really am. But that's my feelings on D-Hop at this point. Kareem Hunt, man, I was so happy to see him get in the end zone tonight. I really was. That had to feel good for him. And we are one game away from delivering a Super Bowl ring for Kareem Hunt. And I just think that's absolutely awesome. I love Kareem Hunt. I love this redemption arc that he's on right now, being a contributing player for a team that is on the brink of their third Super Bowl in 3 years, a three-peat. Just could not be happier for him. D-Hop's another guy too. Like I know I just kind of dogged him, but he's another guy that I really hope the Chiefs can deliver a ring for him because he deserves it. There's a lot of guys that do a lot of good things throughout their career and they end up not winning a ring. Those are two guys that you certainly would like to see win a ring. Let's look at some of the team stats though. So the Kansas City Chiefs had 368 total yards of offense tonight, 233 passing, 135 rushing. Now, Kareem Hunt, efficiency stats aren't going to make him look great or anything once again, but he did just enough. And there was one carry he had, I believe it was in the third or fourth quarter, late third, early fourth, where it had to be, it looked like it was going to be like a loss of 2 or 3 yards. And then ends up getting a yard. And let me tell you, that was the most impressive 1 yard run I've ever seen. And you guys probably know the one I'm talking about. They had him wrapped up in the backfield. And I believe it was Ed Oliver had his arms around him. Kareem Hunt just slips out of it, just pushes himself forward for a gain of 1 or 2. And it was the most impressive 1 or 2 yard run I've ever seen for sure. But Patrick Mahomes, man, he's dangerous on his legs. That is an underrated part of his game. It's been an underrated part of his game. I said to watch for that this week. If you look at pretty much every single Chiefs scoring drive, there was a huge play that Mahomes made with his legs on every single one of them. And the option play, man, I love the option. I love running the option play with Patrick Mahomes because he's dangerous enough with his legs. You saw it, and it just gives you so many options. And I just think, it keeps the chains moving, it keeps the ball moving. But that one touchdown he had where Kelsey was blocking for him, and he just would not be denied. Breaking tackles on the way to the end zone, that got me fired up. Mahomes was awesome tonight with his legs. The Chiefs were 5 of 9 on third down. You would have liked to see them get more opportunities in the red zone. There were a couple of drives that stalled out. Again, the third quarter was terrible. That was a third quarter to forget for the Kansas City Chiefs. Defense also wasn't good in that quarter. 2 sacks allowed for the offensive line. All things considered, with having Caliendo at left guard, Joe Thuney at left tackle, I thought the offensive line did all right. The one play that stands out as being bad, though, was the sack at the end of the game when the Chiefs had to settle for a field goal. Mike Caliendo got blown up by, I forget who it is. Their name escapes my mind at the moment here. I might be able to jog my memory here. Jordan Phillips. It was Jordan Phillips, I believe. Just blew up Mike Caliendo and was kind of the reason that drive died. Mr. T says, what's up? 4 L's for the Bills. Let's go Chiefs. Absolutely, Mr. T. And for those of you that are here right now or have just joined in the last couple of minutes, leave your comments and questions down below. I'll be sure to get to them tonight. D-Hop better show up for the Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think that ship has kind of sailed for me. And I still think D-Hop is a guy that's going to help this team. He's going to play a lot of snaps. You'd certainly rather have him out there than not. I mean, who's the alternative in that scenario? There isn't one. But I don't know. I've kind of given up on him as a guy that's going to have like a huge game or anything like that. Cole says, I'd love to see Hollywood and D-Hop back next season. Absolutely. Especially if you're getting Rashee Rice back healthy at some point. That'd be a nice group. And Mr. T says, Kareem is a beast. Have to agree with you, Mr. T. But as I was scrolling through some of the Bills' defensive players, this just popped in my head again, and I tweeted about this. But Christian Benford was the Buffalo Bills cornerback that was questionable coming into this game with a concussion. He had to pass concussion protocol in order to play in this game, and he passed it supposedly, even though he did not practice all week, or he was limited, I think, but then did not practice on Friday. And they called it personal reasons, I'm just going to say it. When you saw Christian Benford leave the game again with that concussion, it looked like to me he still had a concussion, that he should have never passed concussion protocol. And I'm saying this right now, the Buffalo Bills need to be investigated for how they handle his concussion protocol, because I believe that they skeeted the rules in order for Christian Benford to play. And I mean, Tony Romo said it on the broadcast, but they described Christian Benford as the guy that they cannot afford to lose. And I just feel like, with all that said, that the Buffalo Bills tried to skeet concussion protocol so that Christian Benford could play. I think they should be investigated for it. You cannot tell me. I mean, did you see him? I mean, they had to bring the card out, and Aaron Borgman on Twitter, who used to work for the Kansas City Chiefs as a trainer, he said, it's not impossible, but in all of his, I believe he worked for 12 years in the NFL, and all of his 12 years, he never saw the cart brought out for a guy with a concussion. Never. And for Christian Benford to leave this game on a cart due to a concussion, they had him seat belted in there because, like, he couldn't be trusted to, like, actually stay in his seat. That's how bad it was. You cannot tell me that guy passed concussion protocol. No way. Bills should be ashamed of themselves. That's a bad look. And Cole says it, when Benford left, I knew Buffalo was essentially cooked. And yeah, I mean, that was a matchup that the Chiefs immediately exploited once he left. Was Kyer Elam had to come in the game instead. And the Chiefs immediately went at him with Hollywood Brown. They definitely got him in some matchups that they liked. And then, like, when you just combine all the losses that the Bills had, I mean, not having Valen Spector, not having Taylor Rapp, and then Christian Benford leaving, that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back for their defense. And they ended up giving up too many points. And, man, yeah, it just sucks if you're a Bills fan. Great for us, but it sucks if you're a Bills fan because it just feels like you can't beat this team. And, like, Sean McDermott going for it every single time and not converting on most of them, and going for two multiple times and not getting it. I mean, people are going to say after this game, Sean McDermott should be fired. And I'm not going to say whether he should or should not be fired, but it just feels like once you've tried the same thing over and over again and it doesn't work, that, it's natural that you would want to make a change. I don't know, man. It's just tough. I just think Josh Allen, he's a great quarterback, and if he'd played in the NFL in any other era, he'd probably have a couple Super Bowls by now. But his career might just be snake bitten because he happens to play in the same league as Patrick Mahomes, or play in the league at the same time as Patrick Mahomes. And that's just the unfortunate reality, man. And I heard Bill Simmons, for those of you that are familiar with the Bill Simmons podcast, I heard him say this, I believe it was last year after the Chiefs beat the Bills in the divisional round. Josh Allen's career might just be snake bitten. It might just be snake bitten because of Patrick Mahomes. And that sucks for a guy like Josh Allen. I don't know if the Bills will ever win this game. And, like, their window isn't going to be open forever, or there's going to be a time where, like, you kind of have to rebuild, and there might be a few years where, like, you're not a Super Bowl contender. I mean, that happened even with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. They had some reset years where it took them a while before they were ever really in contention again. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs are, the Kansas City Chiefs aren't going to go to the Super Bowl every year. I don't want to make it seem like that, but you only get so many of these opportunities, man, to not only win, but even make a Super Bowl. And it just feels like Buffalo might be cursed in that regard. They lost a Super Bowl 4 times in a row, and now they've lost to Patrick Mahomes 4 times in a row. That's just crazy. John Jansen says in the comments, nice to see you. They normally have them laying down, leaving. It was strange to see him leave sitting up. Well, yeah, and also they had a seat belt because he could not be trusted to sit up because of his concussion. It's just like, man, something ain't right about that. He should not have played in this game. And I hope he's all right personally. Like, it was kind of scary when he went down. I mean, you knew immediately. And whenever he went down, I immediately was like, is that Christian Benford? Don't tell me that's Christian Benford, because he obviously was in concussion protocol leading up to this game, And yeah, I don't know how he passed. I really don't. Another thing I want to talk about, though, because I think this was the turning point in this game. Chiefs were down when it happened. They really needed it. Bills, 4th down, 4th and 1, 4th and a very short one. They decide to go for it. Get stopped. They get stopped by the Chiefs defense. I mean, for as much as I had an issue with Spags' game plan in this one, the Chiefs defense came up when it mattered most. And that fourth down stop, man, if the Chiefs go on to win, that's got to be remembered in Chiefs history. That fourth down stop, that was the major turning point in this game. And I know there was controversy about whether or not he got it. It didn't look like to me he got it. Some people were saying it was very clear that he got it on Twitter. It was not very clear to me that he got it. And the thing is, the call on the field was he didn't get it. So there had to be discernible evidence that he did, and they could not find enough credible evidence to say, yeah, we're overturning this. He got it. Chiefs get the possession of the ball. They end up going and scoring a touchdown. And yeah, I think that's what won the Chiefs this game, was that big turning point, that big stop on defense. And like I said, I had a lot of problems with Spags' game plan tonight, but I always said, a lot of people said, the Chiefs were going to win with their defense this week. And I was kind of indifferent. Like, I never saw this team. Like, and honestly, they were worse than I thought they would be tonight in this one. Like, the defense just simply was not good. Buffalo had 374 total yards of offense. They didn't average that many yards per play. I mean, they averaged less yards per play than the Chiefs. And they were only 5 of 14 on third down, but man, did they do a lot of damage on early downs, and it just set up for easy conversions for them. And the Buffalo Bills were winning the time and possession battle there for a minute when they were running the ball effectively on the Chiefs, but then the Chiefs tightened up, forced the Bills to throw, and that's what you wanted, because otherwise you were going to see them continue to just ground and pound, run down the clock, get easy conversions, stuff like that. But the Chiefs defense really wasn't that good tonight. And honestly, I'm not too shocked, because I always said in the preview that the Buffalo Bills were going to get theirs. Josh Allen was going to get theirs. All you're asking for from the defense is to give the offense a chance. The defense gave, especially with that big fourth down stop, they gave the offense a chance. And the offense cracked 30 points, which is what I said the magic number was in this game in order to win. And that's what the Chiefs hit. And that's why they're going to Super Bowl LIX to face off against the Philadelphia Eagles. So those are most of my thoughts on the game. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I forgot to talk about because I did not put down notes for this one, guys. I was way too nervous for that. And I mean, my mind is just racing. I can't believe that the Kansas City Chiefs did it again. But early impressions on the Philadelphia Eagles. That matchup I like for the Kansas City Chiefs. I actually like it more than the Washington Commanders. And I know the Commanders defense was really bad, and that's also why they lost in the NFC Championship. But I think, when I've said it for most of the postseason, the Chiefs really don't take advantage of bad defenses. They haven't all year. And like this Bills defense, as beat up as it was, I thought the Chiefs left a lot of points out on the field. And again, that terrible third quarter, like that's what comes to mind when I think about, the Chiefs offensive issues. So I like the Eagles matchup. Also, the Eagles have the much worse quarterback. I think Jaden Daniels is already better than Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts does not throw for a lot of yards in the playoffs. This is another game that's going to come down to the Kansas City Chiefs stopping the run and stopping Saquon Barkley. I think if you stop Saquon Barkley, you win the Super Bowl. That is the early key. That's my first impression of the Chiefs versus the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Again, defensively, you just have to do enough to give your offense a chance. The Eagles' defense is going to be a tough matchup because they still got a hell of a pass rush. They still have a lot of talent at the skill positions in the secondary. But, in order to win the Super Bowl, you got to beat good teams. And I'm not afraid of that matchup. I'm not afraid of going up against good teams. So, guys, those are most of my thoughts from this game. Absolutely wild. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, though, for the live. I'm going to have a lot more in the coming days. I'm going to have more with Michael Darcy. I might even upload another video tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on what else I got to do. But Kansas City Chiefs, man, head into Super Bowl 59, one step closer to the three-peat. Just incredible stuff going on. The Kansas City Chiefs are one step away from history and going down as the greatest dynasty in NFL history. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the live stream there. I appreciate you all that did join me tonight. I know there's a lot of other live streams going on right now. I know there's a lot going on. But I appreciate every single one of you that have joined me and that are watching this after the fact. So make sure you go ahead, like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com, arrowheadaddict.com for more. Make sure you follow me on Twitter as well, showmefb. That's all I got for this one. I will see you guys in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs!
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.